good moed, good kvittel. It's still possible to have a good kvittel because even though they've been dispatched, but they haven't been read yet, as we explained in a video this morning. So you could still pray that when it gets read favorably, be implemented in the most favorable way. In the event that there's any wiggle room, it'll be wiggled towards the positive. So it's still appropriate to wish everyone in the hours remaining of Hoshana Rabbah to be zocher to do tshuva shlema, and that the kvittel should be read litov. I want to give a very quick message for Parshas Breishis. Let Parshas Breishis not be forgotten in the the 3-day Yom Tov. We go straight from Simchas Torah into Shabbos Breishis. Don't have time to produce a full audio, but you could go to my website, evanshisia.com, and find stuff from previous years on Breishis. But a quick reflection for Parshas Breishis that I want to share with you, and it most definitely crosses over to current events, sadly enough. We have at the end of Parshas Breishis a piece of history that people probably just can't understand why it's mentioned in the Torah. It takes up quite a big space. The end of Parshas Breishis, to go through the whole 10 generations from Adam until Noach, and going through everything that happened, everyone who lived, but what should strike people as interesting is that it's not just a dry list of who lived, but it also talks about the story of the expansion of technology, agriculture, architecture, metalwork, music, herding, just to mention a few. There may be a few more that I'm missing off the top of my head. And interestingly enough, who develops this stuff? The children of Cain, the descendants of Cain, the original murderer. You would think that his bloodline, seemingly, would be less virtuous, than the bloodline that came from Shes, who replaced Hevel, and Shes, who the Torah attests to the fact that he was Vayod B'Musa Utzamu. He had Adam's divine image, implying that Cain did not. That Hevel was Shes, who replaced Hevel, was a more spiritual type of guy. So, and his bloodline, his descendants don't seem to do anything. Batlonin, you would think, this guy who's in the divine image, his children they're not part of the technological explosion that happened in those 1,000 years. Except, there's one exception, Noach. As Rashi tells us, that they called him Noach because they nachamenu mitzodenu min adam asher Hashem. He will bring us some comfort, some relaxing from the land that was cursed by God, by the sin of Adam, also in Parshas Breishis. Right? So, Noach, as Rashi explains in Nev Chazal, why did he bring this rest, a little bit of respite from the curse of the earth? He invented the plow. And that's amazing. Right? All the children of Cain who were engaged in agriculture and in metalwork, amongst the other arts, and technologies, they missed it. They're into agriculture and they're into making vessels. They're into metalwork, right? And they missed it. They missed the plow. Noach, he invented the plow, right? Which helped, because farming was very difficult because of the sin of Adam, as God, cursed the earth because of the sin of Adam, and the plow makes it a little bit easier. And the Cainites that were so involved in the technological explosion missed it, and the chosen of the 10 generations that came from Shes, Noach, he invented it. Something that needs to be understood. As we mentioned in the past, the Chumash reports things. The whole style of the written law is to report things as they seem to the eye. but it doesn't tell you what they were thinking, right? That is the function of the oral law, the Torah Shebaal Peh. The Torah Shebaal Peh, which is the inner depth of Torah. So corresponding to that, what the people were really thinking, you won't necessarily find in Chumash. The Chumash just reports what an observer would see, but what was going on in the minds of the doers, that the Torah Shebaal Peh explains to us. So Rashi, who brings the Torah Shebaal Peh to the page, says something very interesting about the children of Cain. Something amazing, right? That they were motivated by lust and greed and aggression. Right? Why were they into metalwork, weapons? And it's true even today. A lot of stuff that filters down to us, in the public sector. I mean, all types of technology was originally developed by the military, for the purpose of killing people. Right? Then eventually they found applications for civilian life, and the stuff filters down. Right? But originally they initially developed for the purpose of killing people. Music, Rashi tells us, was developed for the purpose of idol worship and manipulation. Same thing with herding. It wasn't so much of how the best way to run a farm, in so much as with the technology of herding, you could also people are a herd. How do you work a crowd, build a group hysteria, like the left is so good at doing, Antifa and stuff. I just read group hysteria, right? It's herding, and they were more interested in studying manipulation, right? And the list goes on and on. Rashi points out how it was actually vice that motivated this technological explosion. It's not true, but people say that necessity is the mother of invention. Not true. It's passion. The mind needs to be stimulated. No two ways about it. Mind needs to be stimulated, and passion stimulates it. Necessity could stimulate it also, but it's really passion, right? And if you're very happy with life as it is, you're probably not going to make any, innovative discoveries because you're happy, you're satisfied. Right? The children of Shais were into divine service, and they're very content with their lot in life. But they do want to make the world a better place. That's why they made the plow. They discovered the plow. And these technocrats, right, these tech geniuses, they didn't discover the plow. They had no motivation because their whole technological expansion wasn't fueled by wanting to make the world a better place. It was fueled by vice, right? Wanting to make promiscuity, wanting to make war, wanting to manipulate. Right? So why should they invent the plow? It would ruin their monopoly if one of their industries of the Cain descendants, one of their industries was agriculture. If I invent the plow, everyone can do his own gardening. I don't want that. I don't ruin my monopoly. And so, of course, they had no interest. They missed the plow because they had no interest in going there, because they weren't interested in making the world a better place. They were interested in fulfilling their passions, right? And manipulating others, killing others. And a plow just wasn't on their radar, and that's why they missed it. The children of Shais were interested in being good people and in serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and they invented the plow because they wanted to make the world a better place. Right. So this is so apropos for today. Right, that sadly, it's true that I think most of our technological explosions is all about, vice and vice and vice, new ways to fulfill our desires, new ways to spread promiscuity everywhere. Much of the industry of, that's industry in general. Nothing's ever changed. Chazal say that at the end of time, the Roman empires, the Western society is going to want to get paid for making shopping malls because it benefits the Jewish people. And God says all the shopping malls were there just for spreading promiscuity. Shvakim lo shebem zonos. Just so true that so much of industry and commerce is fueled by greed and lust. But there's one industry that's the whole thing of it. It's a pure industry of lust. It's not that, because of lust and greed, that industry, expanded But there's like an industry that it's pure lust and greed and waste of time. It brings nothing beneficial, even inadvertently. And that's the entertainment industry. The entertainment industry was an industry created pure, just for pure desire. That's what pure entertainment is. You do nothing constructive. It's all about fulfilling, base desires and giving expression to it and catering to it. And, it has, what's right beneath entertainment is professional sports. Just pure Bittelsman, right? But, and it's best when a fight does break out on the field because that, gives, I live vicariously, through their aggression. Right? So these are the two fields that we've merited in our days. On this Hoshana Rabbah, we spoke about how we're being saved and being elevated from the Goyim. We're watching how these two industries are showing their true face. Right? A magnate, I don't even want to defile my mouth saying his name. I never even heard of him before until he made the news. Thank God I don't follow entertainment. Right, but I didn't know that there was a whole company with his name. I didn't know this guy. Never even heard of him until he made the news. But I always loathed the whole entertainment industry, right? Because it's so foreign to our value system. Even Kayan people didn't think of entertainment. They did think of music, but that's where it ended. It's like an industry that the whole point of the industry is directly all types of vice and lust and greed. Right? But now at least it shows its true colors. Right, that a magnate in the entertainment industry was such a pig. It's so embarrassing that he has a name that rings Jewish. I hope, really, I'm so embarrassed. And so now we see the entertainment industry for us, and we see how all the other people in the entertainment industry that constantly attack our